Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss the Tories' latest genius plan to fix the economy, which they broke. What they're going to do, right? You ready for this? Genius. Absolutely inspired. They're going to make millions of British workers and children homeless, piling even more pressure on local services without the funding to cope, and in theory forcing countless businesses up and down the country to pay way higher salaries, which sounds great, but because this is the Tories, in reality it will just mean those businesses going bust and we end up with Thatcher era ghost towns popping up all over the place. Told you it was genius. But first, for daily news and politics, please click the subscribe button to stay notified. So the Tories seem to have latched onto the idea that welfare spending is the political hot topic right now. So they've decided to come up with a policy. Now, this is most unusual. Kemi Badenoch has been saying that she's not going to come up with any policies for like another year or so. And but her MPs have been saying, look, well, she had one policy. Sorry, she did have one policy. If you eat lunch, you're a wimp. That's about it. But her MPs keep saying she needs to start saying what she would do in government. She needs some policies, right? So she's decided to have a punt over welfare. So this is the plan. Any household with any foreign national living in it will be ineligible for any benefits. I assume this doesn't include millionaire foreign nationals in receipt of tax breaks, right? So don't worry about them. Now, let's think about this from Brexit Billy's point of view. So, Brexit Billy doesn't like foreigners, thinks immigrants are the bane of his life, right? So, come from that point of view. So let's just consider this now. The Tory gimp presenting this latest brain fart said that households containing any foreign nationals have seen an increase in welfare costs. And it's like, yeah. Do you think this might be because immigrants by and large do the poorly paid jobs and a significant amount of welfare spending is used to supplement the incomes of people who don't have enough to live on? Because let us remember two facts before we move on. Fact number one, most people on universal credit are in work. They are in work, but their salary does not cover the basic cost of living. So the government basically subsidises their slave wages with universal credit payments. Fact number two, despite the gnashing of teeth of unaffordable welfare spending, oh, so high, it's actually nonsense. A couple of days ago, an economics group posted this chart showing the welfare spending as a share of GDP for countries across Europe. The data's from 2023, so this is bang up to date. Remember, we don't get 2024 data until like this November because it takes pretty much a year to collate. And we're obviously not got 2025 data because it's still happening. So 2023 is the most up to date. See how the UK is only fourth from bottom. Our welfare spending, which includes on pensioners, remember, is actually one of the very lowest when compared to countries in the EEA. Iceland spends about the same. Only Malta and Ireland spend less, but then over a fifth of people living in Malta and aren't Maltese. It's basically like a retirement camp. So they tend to have less need for it as well. So in terms of comparable countries, you basically got Ireland who spend less. It's a complete myth that we have this runaway welfare bill. What we have is a knackered economy where the only thing which will get it moving again is more funding for investment and therefore a need for someone to pay for it. Different people have different ideas about who should pay for it, but that's the reality. This idea of the Tories would be, I suppose, briefly hilarious, but then utterly catastrophic if they tried it. Remember that the reason for universal credit is not unemployed people. It's mostly for working people. It's to top up their piss poor wages so they can afford a basic existence in order to continue being good little economic units. So what are the consequences of this Tory policy? Well, if you take away those universal credit payments, for example, and potentially other benefits as well, like child benefit, suddenly millions of people can't afford their rent. Remember, this won't even just be migrant workers you're thinking of. With foreigners, they could go back to their own land. Brexit Billy doesn't like them, remember? No. This is their entire household, their whole family. Note how the Tories talked about households with at least one foreign national. They didn't just say foreign nationals won't have access to benefits. Many don't anyway. They specifically said the entire household will be blocked from any benefits. So let's say you're as British as they come. You're wearing Union Jack boxes and everything. You sing God Save the King in your sleep and you have fish and chips every Friday without fail. But you're married to a Latvian. If your income is low enough to qualify for universal credit, you won't get it under these rules. And just to be clear, even when you think someone might qualify for a benefit, the system is actually designed to come up with excuses for not giving it to you. You know, little vaguely related example, like my stepdaughter can't get the full amount for her student loan. She's got a dad who pays nothing. Her mum earns little enough that she would qualify, but her mother is in a relationship with me, right? My salary is considered. She's not my daughter. I just happen to be with her mother. But even for a student loan, which may well get paid back in full, she can't get the full amount because of me. And this approach is adopted throughout every single system which is designed to financially support someone in this country, including for welfare payments. It's not just about the money you earn, it's your household. You know, it's not just about what you earn or what you've got in the bank. It's anyone in your household can queer the deal, basically. Anyone who lives with you. So even on a very low wage, universal credit is not an automatic qualification unless your entire household is poor. Which means losing those payments will mean you cannot afford to live. Remember, the government don't give out universal credit to working people because they're generous. It's because it's like literally it would cause mass destitution if they didn't. So assuming these people don't eat avocados whilst watching Netflix and have no other easy way of cutting expenses, they won't be able to afford the rent. So local authorities will suddenly be faced with millions of destitute workers, and they don't currently have the resources to cope with people already homeless. So the idea wouldn't save any money at all. It would actually just load up problems onto local authorities who would have to spend inefficiently in order to try and deal with the problem. The scale of the problem would, of course, be too great. So the greater reality is that businesses would suddenly be without lots of workers. Like it would literally work like this. Because of one foreign national in the household, everyone would fall below the breadline. That means kids doing less well in school, knackering the next generation of British workers. The adult workers won't be as productive due to also struggling with the cost of living and associated physical and mental health problems with not having enough food and maybe not even having a roof over your head. So the workforce becomes less productive. Businesses struggle. And if you think the economy is in the toilet now, if the Tories did this, it would be flushed away and embedded into a massive fatberg. Now, you may be thinking, this is such an insane idea that the Tories would never actually do it in practice. And I think you would be right. So what's the problem? The problem is it's entering the conversation. What the Conservatives are doing is being yet another group trying to point at problems which don't really exist, and then coming up with a solution which falls into the category of release the face-eating leopards. It's a political solution which is designed to get one group of people to think it won't affect them so they can vote for it, and get them to vote to shit on another group, because such is the nature of our society these days. It's like being in the Hunger Games. Different groups of people are made to believe that the only way to make their lives better is to make the lives of others worse. That there's no such thing as society collectively doing better, that it's all a zero-sum game. The Tories have succeeded in turning our society against one another. But the Tories aren't going to win the next election. Labour still should. Reform UK might, especially if the left votes fragments more than the right. But the Tories will not win. So it's not like their idea will be put to the test. But what it can do is appeal to a group of voters, forcing others to decide that they must take a harder line to match it. And when I say a harder line, I mean, of course, a stupider line. Whenever anyone comes up with a brain-dead idea like this, they need properly questioning about it. They want to deprive all households, they've said that, with any foreign-born nationals living in them of any benefits. Now, assuming they're not actually including the state pension in that, although I'm not sure they made it clear, but we'll assume that they didn't, ask them how many British citizens will be plunged into poverty as a result of this policy. Because it's a policy now, right? So it's formal Conservative policy. They've announced it. So they must have done the maths. How many British citizens will be hurt by their policy? Ask them that. I bet nobody does. However, maybe this is an opportunity for some of you with Conservative MPs. See, in the past, when I sometimes suggest contacting your MP about something, some will say, oh, no point, Phil, it's a Tory. Well, now's your chance. This is a formal Conservative policy. Set out the basic premise of the policy. They may not be aware of it. Let them know. Link in the description below to a video clip of exactly what they said. Ask how many British citizens will be hurt by this policy. Let me know if you get any replies. But also let me know what you think in the comments below. And for more content, you could subscribe to the channel or even join for access to streams and behind the scenes updates. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.